Hello, hello, hello. Hope you're doing well today. What I'm going to be talking to you today a lot about is sets. Sets could possibly be the most useful tool to measure progress. Now, you can always talk about number of reps, total number of weight you could do, weight times reps, even times range of motion if you want to go crazy and get the freaking ruler out. But measuring your workouts, your weekly volume, how much training you're doing by total number of sets is probably the most useful way to track your training, keep an eye on your volume, keep an eye on how much total work you're doing and how you can judge your fatigue based off that total work. So first of all, I'll define what a set is. A set is a load of reps done together before you take a pause, a longer rest in between. And what justifies a set, a working set, a set that you can start to count from a hypertrophy perspective or a strength perspective, is a set that comes within those 5 reps of failure. Because then it's an efficient set, a set that's worthwhile doing, worthwhile even making note of. If you're doing a set with 10 reps in the tank, it's so inefficient. It is not causing a stimulus that's even worth checking, and that's so common in so many people's training, to be so far away from failure they don't even know it. They're not working hard enough in those individual sets, and yet they still count that as a working set. That doesn't count. The set's got to be close to failure, close enough to failure so you have a stimulative effect. If you're not sore after any workouts, that's a good indicator that you're too far away from failure. Failure being you can't complete a set to a full range of motion with good form. And judging those weekly numbers of sets is easier than counting up weight times rep to get your total volume of the week. And you have that kind of standardizations of sets, number of sets per week per body part. You think about it like this: you do dumbbell bench press for 3 sets in a workout. 1 day a week, 3 sets another day. That's 6 total sets for the chest. Main mover is the chest and the triceps, but mainly the chest and the shoulders a little bit. You can consider these things. So you consider those 3 muscle groups as being hit 6 sets per week if you do that 2 times a week for those sets that come in with that 5 reps to failure. And that's a really, really easy way to start adding on sets and using that as a tool to measure your volume, measure your total workload in the gym, rather than just going in and say, I'm doing 4 sets of 12 today, but 2 of those sets are with a weight you're warming up with. That doesn't count as a working set. That doesn't count because you're too far away from creating a stimulus for it to be worthwhile even mentioning it. That's a warm-up. So when I say I'm doing 3 sets of 6 on the dumbbell bench press, like you just saw, all of those sets are close, very close to failure, because that was the end of a training cycle. I'm now taking a week off, like I'm hiking and stuff, so I'm not really hitting the gym at all, unfortunately. No, it's good to take a break sometimes. All of those sets count. I did a couple, 2 or 3 warm-up sets before that, and a full warm-up as you saw at the start of the video. So when you see a workout as 4 sets of 12 and 2 of those sets are done as a lower weight that you're not getting close enough to failure to stimulate it, you've effectively done 2 sets, if those sets are even close enough to failure, as we discussed earlier. So that can be a useful tool. It's very simple and straightforward to think about adding an extra set as an easy way to add volume over the week for a body part, and also judge how hard you're working. To the start of a training cycle, you should be on the lower end of sets, maybe down around 10 sets per body part per week. is a pretty optimal place to be to start a training cycle. And from there, each week you can add 1 or 2 sets per body part per week, to start ramping up those sets. And you should finish a training block 4 to 6 weeks at anywhere between 20-25 sets per body part. And then you're up at that extreme high fatigue levels, high performance level in the gym, and then from there you got to deload and reset. So you can use sets to think of as a very useful way of building performance over time in the gym. Increasing the volume, judging how hard you're working, and seeing how much you can recover on over time. And this is a good way to think about your training in the gym. To think about, alright, when I go in the gym today, I'm going to hit all the muscles in my upper body for 6 sets. And you can do that twice a week. That's 12 sets per body part per week at the start, and you add in another set per exercise as you go on. And think about it this way, rather than just going in and saying, oh, I'm going to do 20 sets of chest today. And if you do 20 sets, 5 reps away from failure each set, you're done for like 4 days. That's such hard training, like incredibly hard, and almost too much for one session, unless you're taking a break or you only train once or twice a week. So this is just a concept that since I've started applying to my own training, it's been a really, really valuable way to judge and see how hard I'm working, manage my fatigue to avoid injuries more at the end of that 4 to 6 week cycle where you're up at this 20 set range. You're much more fatigued, much more vulnerable. That's why you take a deload to reset everything and go again, build up from the 12, maybe with higher weights this time as your baseline, and you eventually build up the capabilities and capacity to start at these lower rep ranges, lower set ranges with higher weights. I got all of this from Mike Israetel and Renaissance Periodization. All this information, he's got fantastic content, the scientific principles of hypertrophy training. God, can't speak. Lots of hiking. Tired. Yeah, and you're thinking about like being effective in the gym, having effective sets. Because before I'd go in to the gym, do an exercise like this, the tricep push down, single arm, and I'll do 12 to 15. I'll choose a rep range or a rep to hit before I start the set, rather than trying to figure out, am I 5 reps close to failure? Alright, I'm there. Push maybe 1 or 2 more. Alright, done. Towards the end of that 4 to 6 week cycle, you're getting maybe 1 or 2 reps away from failure. Completely different fatigue ratio, but still within those effective set range. So you're also pushing down the number of reps away from failure the further in you get in a training block. And you're basically going from minimum effective training volume, about 10 sets per body part per week, up to the maximum recoverable training volume, up around 20 sets per body part a week. 20 sets on something like the quads, it's disgusting. It's so hard, but the gains are absolutely beautiful. So yeah, get after it. Think about measuring your training through sets as a vehicle. Figure out your minimum effective training volume in terms of number of sets per week and your maximum recoverable. And we can talk about further in more videos how you can measure those few things. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you have a great day. Peace out.